Kogi State Government has paid a courtesy visit to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, at the command's office in Lokoja. The Commissioner for Information and Communication, Kingsley Fanwo, commended the State Commander of NDLEA, Abdullahi Abdulkadir Fakai, for his doggedness to fight against drug abuse and illicit drug in the state. Our reporter has more.
According to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, recent statistics have revealed that 40% of Nigerian youth between 18 and 35 years are deeply involved in the abuse of drugs. In 2021, around 275 million people used drugs worldwide, while over 36 million people suffered from drug use disorders. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime (UNODC) lamented. The organization said, drug use was responsible for the death of almost 500,000 people in 2019. The commander of the NDLEA Kogi State Command, Abdullahi Abdulkadir Fakai, commended the fight put up by the state government to halt illicit drugs in the state, but urged the people to join them to support the youth from taking drugs which have contributed to security threats and miscreants in society. Fakai said, to cleanse this menace, it has to be an all-round war against drugs abuse.
Drug is the catalyst for which most vices are committed. Wherever you see drug, you will see crime. Wherever you see crime, you will see drug. That is why all of us must come together. The fight against drug abuse and drug menace should not be left in the hand of government alone. Should not be left in the hand of the agency alone. All of us must come together. As parents, we have a social contract with our children, with God that created us, to train our children. When you train your child to desist from drug, you are not just helping your family, you are helping the society in general. Because like I said, this banditry that we hear today, this kidnapping, cultism, is not done with clear eye. People who engage, you find that they are under one substance or another.
He called for individuals volunteering to carry the crusade to schools, churches, mosques and market squares, saying it is worrisome for those who cultivate even cannabis sativa and claim to be doing legitimate business. Meanwhile, 11 million users are already confirmed in Nigeria, a third of whom seems to be regular users with a need for drug counseling. Fakai said, lower perception of the danger drug users are exposed to is responsible for the increase in the risks and have been linked to increasing in crimes. He called on the government to support the agency to fight this evil that is taking over the youths through proper counseling to close the gap between perception and reality by educating young people and safeguarding public health.
Of recent, NAFDAC was in the campaign against what is called Kuskura. I don't know if you have heard that one. One of the problems that we have, and that is why parents are the first institution, the first agency, the first police to the children. Because the substances that we are talking about may not necessarily be cocaine, heroin, and cannabis. There are other substances that are unconventional. It is only the user that identifies what will give him the high that he requires. So that is why I say the parents must also be the first police, the first agency, the first religious leader, the first person to monitor and train his child.
Sensitization is key. People must understand what we are selling. I don't thief. But you are selling something that encourages thieving. Because they don't know the effects it does to the individual user and the community.
So you must understand the danger of drug abuse. Talk to your parents, talk to your wards, talk to your colleagues in office. Drug is no good.
Recently, the NDLEA boss said they have stations that through their efforts have been able to reduce the inflow of drugs through Kogi State to other states in the country. The Commissioner for Information and Communications commended the command and the commander, saying the government will continue to partner with them to provide regular orientation and counseling to the majority of drug users and the general public through the government and private media in the state.
It's a serious war that we must win. And we are not leaving the war to the NDLEA alone, because it is not the NDLEA that suffer the consequences of drug abuse. Our people do in the villages, in cities, in towns, across the state. So we must rise to the occasion as a government to enlighten our people, to sensitize them. And I can assure you that the State Ministry of Information and Communications will work closely with you to achieve this.
Commissioner for Information was joined by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Electronic Media and Public Relations, Avoy Ngogo, and Shegun Abiroro, including directors from the Ministry of Information. Khadijat Mohammed, reporting for MLC TV.